Hey y'all, Anthony here, one half of the dev team at Cinderstill Studio, working on Valley of Shadow in our full time. But in our off time, we like to do these little recordings, video recordings of Play My Game submissions or game dev submissions on subreddits, excuse me, across Reddit, usually asking for just a playtest and some feedback. Most people usually will play the game if they even play the game at all, and then respond textually in a text or something like that. But what we like to do is do these video recordings that like to show over-the-shoulder gameplay to give actual real-time feedback from game dev to game dev. So without further ado, let's do one of these here. It's by Daniel on Itch.io. It's called Goblin Deez Knights. I have no idea what it's about. Haven't played it yet. Haven't even booted it up. It is an in-browser game, which is okay. I'm not too fond of in-browser games. It's usually neither here nor there. I really like to download it and get it on my system. There's a lot of for recording, in particular recording purposes. It goes through a lot of GPU issues, and sometimes it reduces the frame rate. That's neither here nor there. Whatever, it's fine. One thing I'm going to say right off of the bat is controls. Get this off the website right now. Put more and more. I'm seeing. Game developers, especially independent game developers, amateur novice ones just kind of starting out, are making games as though the controls are a secondary thought. Stop doing this. Put the controls in the game. Either show me how to play in the game or develop your game around elegance, making the controls elegant. I'm going to make a separate video because this is becoming such an issue now. The controls, putting the controls on a website, even if the game is in browser, is exactly like what games used to do 30 years ago, which was put the game information in a separate instruction manual. Nobody likes to look at to come out of the game and look at an instruction manual. Like make the game as though you like to play your own games. Nobody likes to go into a pause menu. No one likes to open up an instruction manual. Like, no one likes to do this. So I'm not harping on Daniel in particular. I've said this over multiple videos so far, but elegance in control scheme, elegance in UI, UX, elegance in those things needs to be a focus for game developers as well. Game developers just coming out. There are more and more games that are being developed, more and more games that are being produced and released either professionally or just in the way of the hobby for hobbyists. So no matter what track you're trying to go, even if you're just doing it as a hobby, learn how to develop your game around the user experience. That's what games are. They are a user experience. Games are a focused user experience as well. So, for instance, if you're developing software to do X, Y, and Z, the software is the pathway through which the user is traveling to then do X, Y, and Z, right? So if it's Robinhood or Acorn or an app or software for like banking or the financial industry, then you can get away with kind of having crappy user experience somewhat, but even apps like Robinhood are focusing more on elegance of control schemes to reduce that user barrier to get through. Games are even more focused because the X, Y, and Z is that whole game cycle, the whole game flow. So reduce the barrier of entry, which is usually controls. No matter how, I'm looking at this, I know it's controls. So I know just by reading, but right now I'm going to completely I'm not even going to worry, I'm not even going to memorize, I'm not even going to look at this. What I'm going to do is play the game as though you didn't give me the instruction manual, because that's what games are. Games are an encapsulated user experience, and you need to understand this as a burgeoning game developer. You need to understand that the control scheme needs to be in your game. whether you slowly teach the player how to do it over time, or you reduce the complexity of the control scheme such that the player can just intuitively understand it, or no matter what. No matter what. So I'm going to make a separate video about just everything I've seen and everything I've understood through 7 years of game development myself, through 4 professional game releases. Just everything I understand about it, because I think more game developers need to understand it. This should not be here. I know that most people are doing it, but again, from a game design standpoint, this cannot be here. The idea of power-ups and things like this also shouldn't be here. The thing about enemies also shouldn't be here. I know that it seems like they should, like you have space for text and blah blah blah, but the majority of the importance of game development and game design needs to be about things like visual language, about the way that you do textures, about the information that you are, as the game developer and the game designer, getting to me through just the game itself. The game should be, at its highest ideal, self-contained. So focus on that as much as possible. This is without, and this is like a six minute diatribe that I'm saying here, basically without even hitting run game yet. So from game design, from my game development understanding, is I try to focus as much as possible of taking all of this and putting it into the game. So that's just my first initial feedback to this game, Goblin Deez Knights. So that's not meant to be negative, not meant to be moral or ethical in any way, shape, or form, not even meant to really be judgmental, although I know it's coming across that way, but it's supposed to be as helpful as possible from game developer to game developer, is take all of this and put it into here. Show, don't tell. So the same rule applies in game design and game development as it does in professional writing. It's the exact same thing. Show, don't tell. Don't tell me any of this. Don't tell just imagine that I'm going to skip it like most gamers are going to skip it. You need to strengthen your game by applying the rules of this into your game. And that's a whole artistic discipline. It's a whole technical discipline. It's going to come through years of practice. More power to you just for making a game at all. Highly commendable. Again, even before pressing run game, thumbs up, double thumbs up just for having something on here. But the next step is going to be making your progress more concise. Is going to be taking all of this information and putting it into the actual game. So again, I just kind of glanced at this. I know that it's here. I'm going to ignore it though, as 99% of gamers ignore outside information. Okay, so that's feedback for you. Most gamers don't give a crap about any of this. And I would argue, probably including yourself, including myself, including most people, you come home from work or school or class, you just want to dive into a game, and the game needs to leverage that work. So you, as the game developer, the game designer, needs to take that into account. Alright, so without further ado, let's run the game. Let's see what happens. Okay, Unity, got it. I'm very familiar with Unity. Awesome. Alright, let's see. Do I have sound on? I do. Alright, let's see. Can I maximize the screen because I'm playing at 1280 by 720? Okay, it doesn't look like I can. Alright. 8-bit. I like it. I can see the shield here. It looks like a sword scabbard here, or sword. No, it's a sword handle here. Bow and arrow. I'm not sure what this is. Might be like a wizard's thing. It looks like the sword is made of hearts. That's interesting. Alright, so check control. So this is already far superior to having it outside of the game. Nice. Left click, shoot arrow. Right click, use sword power. Aim. Nice. Escape, pause. Good. Was to move. Emotional baggage goblin. Baggage to armor. Red flag goblin. Flag to princess? Okay, I guess so. This doesn't really make any sense to me. But I guess these are the enemies, emotional baggage and a red flag. Okay. We'll see what this is by playing it. Nice. Do I have ammo? No. Alright, so I can move around. Alright, self-explanatory. So the controls are whoa. Whoa. Oh, nice, I can just hold it in. Whoa! 20 seconds. Restart, main menu, okay. Again, so I don't have, this isn't self-explanatory, I have no idea what's going on, but I think I'm going to learn over time because it's pretty interesting just as it is. Nice audio feedback from the hitting, from like the attacks. Okay, so so she can't get hit by him. Got it. Oh, so she gets emotional baggage over time. Got it. Whoa, this is crazy. Okay. So, regular King of Hearts. I don't know what any of this is yet. Reflective ammo. Nice. Okay, so the ammo's piercing. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, jeez. So I think I'm kind of powering something up with every kill, but I still am not really sure what that thing is I'm powering up. It feels really overwhelming at first. Okay, so one thing is it feels like these guys are way too tough. Just right off of the bat, the difficulty curve is really high, really early on. Like they're just all coming. And if there's a way to kill them quickly, I don't know, I can't really master, so I guess right click? So I can only use that once? Okay. Okay, let's check it. Woo! Jesus. So they're coming really fast. The difficulty curve is really high. So I guess, let me see. So I guess that's supposed to kill them. So I don't have any control over... There's a lot happening. It's definitely a really interesting... You have a lot of really good ideas here, but they're not well structured over time. Okay, so it's like what you're doing is what you're definitely doing is you're jamming all of your game mechanics into like just one level, right? So it's not structured. It doesn't feel like it's structured really at all. With the exception that you have one or two goblins that come in at once, which is cool. Like it feels good early on because it feels good. Like I'm okay. So I'm shooting. Oh, okay. So there's a pickup. Okay, so I get these pickups. Okay. Oh my god. So then they all start just coming in, and you're jamming every single one of your game mechanics into this one level. I can pick apart. Is there a way to turn the music off or down? No. Okay, so I can pick apart each individual mechanic from game designer to game designer. Like I definitely see the game mechanics. But it's so overwhelming early on that I think that what you should do is break that up into individual levels or something like individual levels. I'm not exactly sure what you're going for. Let me give it another try. It's so overwhelming. So there's a lot going on. You're not really teaching me anything over time. You're just kind of putting me into this gauntlet and telling me, okay, figure it out. So, okay, so cool. So those are over time. I see the line for giant arrows now. Whoa! I mean, it's definitely cool, but it's so much. Okay, so now I have my sword, right? So I can come out here and just do that. I like that idea. That's a really good idea. These guys are really tough. Like, there's so many of them, and they're so hard. Like, I feel like I should be able to... just through sheer force of skill, I should be able to kill all these things without picking up any pickups. The pickup idea, it feels like it should be like on top of like the ability to kill them with skill. Like they should just be like an extra oomph. Like I can use those and kind of clear out the entire screen. Let me see. It'd be nice to be able to see how damaged each one of these goblins are as well over time. So I can see, so it's like if I hit a couple of these once or twice, maybe there's like health bars over them, or you change their textures as they take more and more damage, just so I know. Let me see. Woo! Come on! Ah, damn, man. Here we go. Nice. Woo! Bing! Nice. Yeah, I mean, the controls are so simple. It's basically WASD and then left click, and then right click to use your sword. Damn. It's really, really hard. It's way too hard. So the difficulty curve is way too high. You need to slow that down. You need to slow it down. Either slow it down and drag out like the wave function over time, like the actual gradient of the difficulty. Really drag that out over time. Give me time to kind of master the controls. Even though they're very simple, definitely thumbs up. They're simple. They're pretty elegant. I don't really think they could be any more elegant. Try to find a way to take the control scheme and teach it to the player over time. Really treat me like, treat players like we're smart. Obviously, I mean you're clearly doing that, but also it's like a fine line between treating players like they're smart and not treating players like we're dumb, but treating us like we need to get it over time. Just, you know, like treating it like a pedagogical like series of lessons, right? So it's like, like I'm playing around. Most games are WASD, so I definitely play it like it's WASD. Just through playing around, I do that with every game, not just as a player. So it's definitely good that, oh, WASD makes sense. Oh, left click makes sense. Cool. So I'm shooting, you know, like most games do. Which is definitely thumbs up. It's super elegant. But then the right click comes in. So it's like, how do you show the player to right click without having them read something on a website or click on the controls in the options menu? That's the hard part. But it's pretty self-explanatory as it is. I just don't know unless I'm kind of fumbling around and kind of die first. That, oh, right click gives me this sword. Oh, the sword does this. It does this massive wave that kills everything in one hit. Got it. There might be too much of a delay as well between pulling the sword out and then him swinging. I almost want it to happen immediately. I almost want it like to right click and kill everything in a radius immediately, almost like it's a little bit faster. I love the mechanics though. I love the mechanics. I just think the difficulty curve is just too high, too quick. But I think it's going in a really good direction. You did a hell of a lot of work here. Very, very, very commended. The amount of work you've done is definitely to be commended. This is really great. This is a great proof of concept for something like this. The guys feel a little too tough, like I said. You know, just go back and listen to the feedback in the past couple of minutes. So I don't keep saying the same thing. Basically, that's basically it. Woo! You have the action down, you have most of the feedback down that I need, like most of the information from the enemies. I could use a little bit more information from them, like I said, how damaged each of them are, especially since, like, if I were killing them each in one hit, for instance, then, you know, I wouldn't need any information. I wouldn't really need any feedback from them except their depth feedback. Woo! I like how the wave gets bigger, over time, like over distance. I like that a lot. Oh no! The feedback from her is great. That she's getting flags. No. Okay. Yeah, could drag it out a little bit longer, but I like it. I'm excited to see where you take it. If you take it anywhere. This is definitely a really good proof of concept, good mechanics. The mechanics are super simple. Woo! Cool, King of Hearts, so I got my sword. I would like to be able to see what I have. So, you have the feedback from the arrows is great because so let's say I pick up a new arrow and I see it immediately on my character, which means I don't even have to look down, which is great. That's awesome feedback. The ability to see something without having to move my eyes is really important. I wish something with my sword were similar. You're doing a lot at the bottom, which is good. Like you're making it really juicy down there. You're giving me a lot of good feedback. But I think maybe strengthen it even more by having something occur on me. Maybe the sword grows on me whenever it's available, right? So instead of the sword growing whenever I right-click, let me do something here to illustrate that even better on my end. Hold on. So when the sword's ready, when the King of Hearts is ready, the sword grows. So the sword grows right now when I use it. Instead of it growing whenever I use it, have it grow when it's available. That way I can see it immediately, and I know immediately that it's available, right? To basically strengthen that visual information. So I don't have to rely on something outside of my visual range occurring to inform me that it's ready. Yeah, this is great. Definitely great, really overwhelming at first, so basically every average game length is going to be like 30 minutes, or 30 seconds to like a minute and a half probably. It just feels really overwhelming. It feels like it's really not designed to last any longer than that. Even with all the pickups, it feels almost impossible to be able to kill all of them with any kind of skill. Yeah, like she already got a. Like I'm playing as well as I feel like I can be playing right now. Grabbing all the different pickups just kind of changes up the game ability. Or not the game ability, like my mechanic, just way too sudden with no real benefit. So it's like I'm running around here and then I grab this and it kind of lengthens that a little bit, but she's just gonna take it anyway. My sword isn't really. My King of Hearts isn't really generating fast enough in almost any meaningful way. You have a lot of meaningful mechanics that I think you could put together a lot more meaningfully over time. Yeah, like a minute. Yeah, so it feels like every play session is going to be about 30 seconds to a minute and a half. So awesome individual mechanics. The way you're putting them together is really good, really interesting. It feels good. The feedback is really good. You can tighten up the feedback a little bit more, especially with the ability to, especially with the King of Hearts ability. I learn pretty well over time what each of them do. If you lengthen that difficulty curve, I can learn even better within maybe 1 or 2 play sessions rather than over several play sessions. It wouldn't feel so overwhelming, and the information can get to me a lot faster, a lot sooner, a lot more elegantly. Control scheme is great. Work on you could probably even take it off of the website because you don't even need the information on the website if you can do it more elegantly within the game itself. And I think that one of the things you're missing, which could go a huge way, like a huge distance, could leverage a lot of work for you, is just lengthening the difficulty curve. Keep me in the single game instance sooner, right? So it's like, also give me the ability to turn off the music or turn it down. I'm just gonna turn it off right now. Give me the ability to adjust the music inside of the browser. Give me the ability to make it full screen as well inside the browser. At least I didn't see it just from kind of playing around a little bit in that one time. So a lot of the harping in the beginning still holds true. Just try to make the control scheme as elegant as possible, which you already did. But now the next step is teach me that control scheme over time. Keep the ability to check out the controls in the options menu, but again, most people don't actually click on anything except for just wanting to play the game. Most people want to be taught how to play the game inside of the game itself, like literally within the game flow, within the game cycle. Not have to click on any extraneous information, not have to open an instruction manual, nothing like that. I know I do, and I'm a game developer myself. I know you likely do as well. Most people likely do, just instinctually, just inherently. So great job. Thumbs up to what you have going on now. just work on making it more elegant. Just work on extending that. Whether you're going to continue with this project or you're going to work on another project next, immediately, or you're currently working on one, just keep that in mind. Keep the game cycle in mind, the player being inside of the loop, and just keep strengthening the feedback. Yeah, so I hope this is helpful. Like about 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes with it. I hope this is helpful. I hope the feedback was good. Great mechanics. They're not even the mechanics aren't even jumbled. It's just the difficulty curve is too much too soon. So hopefully it was helpful. Keep rocking it. Keep making games, and I can't wait to see where you go with this. All right. Awesome little proof of concept, little minimum viable product. So good luck, and I'll see you on the other side.